Wow, that was like a legit squeaky sound. I couldn't even find that sound effect anywhere.
We're gonna have to film that sound effect.
We'll just make that be the intro. Welcome back to the 6th annual Halloween special. I am once again sitting here with a great friend of mine, Joe. Joe Marino is a fucking incredible writer and one of the best note givers I know, seriously. Like, you have some of the best advice. Whenever I have anything, you're there, and you're just so fucking talented, and I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
I love you too. I also love you. You love me?
I do.
Okay, I love you too.
Right here.
Okay. I love you almost as much as I hate this movie.
No, I hate this movie more than I love you, like officially.
This film. I figured if we're going to do a bunch of Halloween movies and a bunch of scary films and horror films and have my friends involved with the videos, at some point in time, one of my friends is going to have to sit through a really bad one because I can't do all of these without wanting to do at least one Hilariocity. Manos, Hands of Fate came out in 1966. This also serves as the pre-1970s review of the month, as I have been doing all year. I have been requested to do this review for a long time, especially on Patreon. A lot of great people on Patreon have asked me to do this review. And so Joe and I, we sacrificed ourselves today before the altar of Manos. And oh my God. That's half the movie, by the way. This is half the movie. This is
in the middle of a cut.
Let's talk about cuts, because this movie wasn't really...
Of which there were non-existent. They don't exist in this movie.
There was no editing.
No. It's honestly painful, the level of inadequate everything that this movie represents for filmmaking in general.
Absolutely.
I honestly I don't even have words for how horrified I was at certain moments where it's just like, you could tell the actors were almost standing there going, is the camera still on?
There were parts where they looked into the lens.
Yeah, especially the kissing couple.
The kissing couple in the film. Like, it's just a constant thing where, like, every few moments, they're just back to this kissing couple, and the cop comes up, the pointless cops come up to ask them what they're doing. The guy's got a wedding ring on. Like, the guy...
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, he's got a wedding... So, it's like, it's almost like they just grabbed some people off the street and was like, hey, you want to make out and be in a movie? It's going to be Hollywood magic. It's going to be great. We're going to make millions. And it's just, you and I have watched a lot of shit. Okay?
You more than me.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I'm not used to this level. Like I looked over to you every once in a while, and you're like, you seem like, yeah, I've seen this before. I'm just like, no, this is completely out of my realm of expertise.
I'm slightly disturbed, and that's the end of the video. No, I force myself to watch a lot of crap. Our buddy Flickpick, like, we sit down sometimes, and he's like, "Why did you watch Spice World?" And I'm like,
why wouldn't you watch Spice World is more of the question.
Exactly, Joe. You get me. No, like, we sat there watching this film kind of basically flabbergasted at the complete incompetence on display at every 2 seconds. I guess if you want to talk about the plot, would you like to try to sum it up?
No, I'm good. I'm letting you take this one.
Okay.
I'm just going to watch and just slightly look at it in a bemused expression.
So... there's a couple. Michael is the husband. He's very important. You know why? Because he's a man.
And he's the director.
And he's also the director and the writer and the producer and probably the editor and everything.
Tommy Wiseau, the 1960s version.
Absolutely. I mean, this guy makes Tommy Wiseau look like a genius, to be honest. Like, The Room is actually a real movie. Like, it has scenes.
With lines that are said, and people answer those lines, and typically you don't have characters standing there going... camera still going? No? Yes? We're just going to stand here until they say cut, which apparently never happened. I don't think the word cut was ever said in this in the filming of this movie. I
think you can actually see him mouth the word cut at some point, like, cut, but without the dialogue, and it's just in the film.
Which is why we have the dubs that we do, the glorious, glorious dubs.
You think we're doing something wrong.
Well, whatever it is you're not doing, don't do it somewhere else. don't you guys leave us alone?
You talk about The Room and you see Tommy Wiseau doing his dubs and everything. It at least feels slightly more like there was some effort behind it. Like after you see a movie like The Disaster Artist, you can kind of respect Tommy Wiseau for at least going out there and trying. There's very little I respect about this movie. But it is funny. It is very funny to watch, especially Torgo. Ah! Michael! Michael! Where are you, Michael? Michael! Michael! That's half
Do
the
that
movie.
for another 30 minutes.
That's what the director said.
Don't you ever try that again, you beast!
The master wants you, but he can't have you. I want you.
Stop that talk this instant, you hear?
He wants you, but he can't have you.
Mike!
Like that's really honestly a large majority of the movie. You got this guy Torgo who's like the caregiver or the gatekeeper to this cult. Where this guy and these women who are his wives apparently worship this god called Manos, and they apparently make sacrifices. But probably, without exaggerating, 15 minutes of this movie is nothing but people going, "We can't kill a child!
Yep.
The child must die!
The child will become a woman.
But the child must die!"
But the child would become a woman. And we are women. There we... Oh! Oh!
Mike, help us! Oh my God!
Wait, then you have to have the random, like, blood splatter.
I know, it's like people die in this movie from being
From slapped.
Like there's a guy like Torgo's on the altar or whatever because he failed and they're gonna sacrifice him and they're just fucking lightly slapping him politely and it keeps cutting to him and he's like oh. Did you read up at all about this actor who portrayed Torgo?
No.
Apparently, from sources involved with the production, he was on LSD.
That makes so much more sense than what we got.
Does. It really does. Because he is like this overly erratic, and he's got like these oversized knees. Like they stuff pillows in his knees for some reason.
It's Igor, but it's not.
That's basically probably what they were going for.
Yeah, you'd have to. There's no other reason to go, hey, you're going to wobble around our set looking slightly dazed as you randomly touch people's hair inappropriately.
Both of us were expecting this to be pretty bad from the beginning. Like we knew like generally that this is considered an awful film, and Mystery Science Theater kind of popularized it in the 90s. But I really wasn't prepared for, like, I guess the editing, really.
No, the music. I wasn't ready for the music. I wasn't ready for the editing. I wasn't ready for the non-acting. I wasn't ready for the cops. I wasn't ready for the kissing couple. I wasn't ready for the child that is obviously a woman in really bad falsetto. There were a lot of things I was not prepared for.
The dub voice, yeah.
The dub voices, I think, are my favorite thing walking out of this. Like, it was three people, right? Three people who were brought in post to go, hey, do the voices for every character. So you'll randomly be seeing characters talking. There's no dialogue.
No dialogue.
There's no sound when the cars go on or cars go off. When the car engine breaks down, it sounds like an underwater bubble of some sort. I'm not sure. It was like...
It did. That's all it sounded like. I mean, it was probably a guy with his mouth just going like... For the character of Mike, The movie's like a series of sequences where he becomes out of commission. He runs outside and he's like, "What's going on? What's these noises out here?" And there's nothing, but the dog's dead. And then he walks back inside and the girl cries.
The dog's dead!
The dog's dead. He's holding a gun. Like, his daughter's like right there, and he's just like, "I don't know. This dog is dead." And he's just like flailing this gun around right in front of his small child. And that's the fucking beginning of the movie. But then he gets knocked out in a great scene.
Yes.
A really wonderful stunt. Okay, like, no joke. Torgo tying him up to that tree was probably about a minute and a half long.
Yes. That was painful. Because you're waiting for the cut. And you're like, the cut's not going to come, is it? No. You're going to stand here for a minute and a half while we finish him tying him to a tree.
This feels like a movie that was made just because somebody, the director, was like, "I'm going to make a movie." In fact, apparently he made a bet with another writer that he couldn't make a film that was in some way popular. And
well, he's wrong, I guess. The other guy was wrong. Yeah. This is cult classic status.
We're here in 2018 talking about it, so something clearly happened for him.
Jeez.
You mentioned earlier that I tend to watch more crappy films than you, which, is totally true, and I'm guilty. Part of it for me is that I tend to sometimes actually get more inspired when I see what not to do. And I'm curious, for someone like you, when you watch a film like this, is it just creatively deadening? Like, is it just a void? Or are you in some way like, hey, that guy got it done, maybe I can get myself moving?
It depends on where you want to be creatively. I mean, you can look at anything and find some sort of inspiration from it. It just depends on, okay, I think that there are two different thoughts for it. There are people that they are particularly inspired by going, this is everything I'm not going to do. I'm going to make sure, almost out of spite, I'm going to make sure I'm better than that. And then there's other people that look at something great, like all the work of Hitchcock, Spielberg, Scorsese. I'm going to be that. So I think it depends on where you're starting from. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm more inspired by what I want to be or what I want to do. But something like this is incredible for showing you issues that you might not know are a facet. Like, I've never seen bad editing. I could see, yes, bad editing,
sure.
But atrocious editing.
This isn't real editing. They basically just lined the shots in chronological order. That's all they did. They just boop, 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 boop.
I think for this, that would say, okay, now I know what can go wrong with editing. I know what can go wrong with dubbing. I know what can go wrong with hiring people on LSD. You now have a framework to build on going, yeah, that thing, we're not going to do that.
I think that's honestly, as I watched the film and I read up into the production, it seemed like that's what he was figuring out, but as he made it. Like, oh shit, this isn't how you do it. And then editing, oh crap, this isn't how you make a movie. But it's too late because he made it.
I never thought I would look at a film and go, I think during the movie you even went, Ed Wood's better than this. And it's true.
Plan 9 was better.
And that's just such a scary thought to contemplate, that a movie makes that look competent.
It does, yeah. It is frightening to really think about what can be done when you get a group of people together who are just not ready for this.
No.
But this is the type of film that gets made when you have that type of mentality. Like, oh, I can make a movie, Hollywood magic, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Because great directors make it look easy. Great actors make it look easy. Until you're there trying to actually do it, you realize how hard it really is.
I did read something about the film where they said a lot of the issues that people were having with the film while it was being made, they said, well, don't worry about it. We'll fix it in post. Post will fix everything. Another thing that you don't know until you get there, wait, no,
not how
we need to refilm this entire movie. By then it's too late, and you're stuck with what you got.
Definitely.
So I don't know, man. It was an experience.
Thank you for taking this ride with me.
I'm going to cry myself to sleep tonight.
I'll be there right with you.
I'll be randomly waking up in the middle of the night. There would just be this guy just like...
That'll be me.
You're going to buy the red cloak right now. The hand red cloak. Yep.
Amazon Prime, ship it to my house. I'll be at Joe's house tonight. We must kill this child!
You are a troublemaker. You deserve to die.
Die? I may die, but I do not care. The child must live.
She is right. We will not kill the child.
What did you feel you got out of this?
In regards to like, what does it make me feel like as someone who wants to create?
Yeah.
I think it gets me excited to talk about it, which there is something to be said about what films like this or The Room or Troll 2 do to people like you and I. Like it does make us want to talk about it.
Absolutely.
And there is something there to ponder about. You know, like you and I stood outside of a theater with John Rodriguez talking about Annihilation for a half an hour.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
You know, but that's a different type of thing. Like that was like, wow, this is different and
that
inspiring.
Was wow, this is wow.
Yeah, this is wow. But still, there is something to be said about movies like this and Plan 9 where it kind of makes people who want to be creative and want to create not just think like, I want to never do that again, but there is something about the idea of some random guy who has nothing in Hollywood, who has no real talent about making films, who just says, hey, I'm going to do it, and does it. And now, you know, all these years later, we're sitting here talking about it. And so you have to wonder, similar to Tommy Wiseau in The Room, you have to wonder, despite the complete failure of this movie, was it?
Anything that brings entertainment or joy to people can't be a complete failure.
I agree with you.
This is a technical failure.
Absolutely.
This is a creative failure, but I don't think that it's a full failure because, as you said, something that's true, the greatest sin a film can be is be boring. The greatest sin a film can be is just be nothing. And if it was truly a bad film, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Right. Technically, yeah. I mean, like on paper, it checks all the boxes for the worst movie ever made. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're not defending this film. It's clearly bad. I mean, in every way. It's just, I'm very kind of interested in the whole notion that why is it that there's so many other YouTube channels, too, dedicated to talking about bad movies and just discussing bad film. Look at Riff Tracks, and as we already mentioned, Mystery Science Theater. There is a fascination with this that is unending, and it's not just pointing your finger and laughing. Absolutely. It's not just that. There is a very perverse fascination that I have with films like this that make me want to watch them.
Let's talk about the 60 cuts to the photograph, or the painting.
Oh my God, the painting.
I feel like that was put in just because, all right, we need to really build up the tension. We just need to cut back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Nobody says anything.
Nothing.
It's just like, photograph. Photograph. And
that's what it's like.
It was funny, and then it's still funny because it keeps going.
It kept
and
going.
then it gets to that, oh no, they're still going.
They're still looking at this fucking painting. I think he just thought it was a lot more frightening than it is. He was like, this is so scary.
I paid $5 for somebody to paint this portrait.
I doubt he even paid anybody for that.
It sounds like he paid most of the people in the film with shares to the profits.
Yeah.
So arguably, if that's valid, no one got paid.
No money. So in that case, you could say this is not really a professional film because no one made any money.
It's an art film.
It's just some attempt.
It's a student film.
It's a thing that exists. Talking about that painting, the actor who portrays, I honestly, I don't remember his name or even if they even said it. He doesn't speak for the first half of the entire film. For the first half of the movie, he's lying on a slab, just sleeping, I guess, while his wives or concubines or whatever they are just stand there with their eyes closed.
Do I get lines yet? Not yet.
Just stand there. Later you'll fight in a really, really long, fake-looking fight where you all just roll on top of each other.
And then one of you will get slapped mercilessly.
Until she's dead.
Until she's
slapped to death. Jesus Christ.
One thing that's really interesting about the times we live in right now is for a guy like that who went, I'm just going to go make a movie. I don't need any professional equipment. I don't need any professional actors. I'm just going to go and do something. And right now, we're at a time where anyone can make a movie. And maybe not a full movie and a professional movie, but you can go out with a pretty decent camera and you can just go out, hey, I'm going to go film something scary. I'm going to go do something with my friends. And there are so many opportunities for creating your own work, to show off. I always think of my favorite example of that is the short film that inspired Lights Out.
David F. Sandberg, yeah.
Yeah, which is just something as simple as, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you just, when you flip a light switch on and off, something just gets closer to you with every bit of darkness?
Just that one little concept got him the feature, and now he's doing Shazam. He did the Annabelle movie, which was way better than the first one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really like Lights Out.
Yeah, I like Lights Out too.
Yeah. I think that stuff like this, there's so much to look at from a creative standpoint going, yes, it's terrible. Yes, there's so much more he could have done with it. But there's still so much to learn from it. And we're looking 50 years, right? 50 years later. And we're still able to just go, hey, I mean, think of that opportunity and what he did. And just look at what we could do so much better now. There's no excuse to make something that bad
Exactly.
now.
I mean, everyone's got a camera in their pocket 1,000 times better than the one that they were using, for instance, and access to computers, or your friend probably has a computer, that will allow you to cut it together better than this one. And there really is no excuse anymore to not try to go out and make something. And it's funny how a film like this can actually get us to this level of craft discussion and stuff. Like, I mean, it's the shittiest movie ever fucking made. And we're sitting here talking about it. But it's true, though. Like, you're absolutely right. There is no real excuse anymore to not try. And despite the fact this is the only thing this guy ever did in regards to movies, he did get it made.
Anyone could put a film on YouTube now. There's no reason that if you love film and you want to be a storyteller, you need to start somewhere. We all have to start somewhere. And we're in a really great place right now where you can do whatever you want to do if you build something that you have the capacity to build. Like, this guy should have done something in one room with like 2 actors who don't speak. And this
that's where the problems come in.
It's when you and that happens with a lot of storytellers.
Ed Wood was the same. He wanted to make a massive Plan 9 from Outer Space sci-fi extravaganza, and he had not the money for it. But he wanted to do that big thing. And a lot of indie filmmakers make that mistake. Instead of wanting to do something small scale with a small budget, they want to make the Spielberg movie. They want to make the George Lucas movie, but they don't have that budget yet. You're totally right.
They want to start school as a freshman and then jump right into a CEO Fortune 500 company. You have to start with your capabilities. You have to give yourself room to grow and to hone your skills and to find out what you're really good at.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy could have been great at some other form of storytelling. This was not it.
Clearly, he has some form of drive.
Or he wouldn't have put in the time and effort to do this.
Right.
That's something I also love about the industry, though, because we all are coming from the same place. We love film. We love movies. We love these big, impassioned visual forms that make us feel something.
Right.
Whether that's fear or joy or humor, whatever it is. And we're all coming from that place. You very rarely are going to get something, hey, I fucking hate movies, man. This sucks.
I'm just going to talk about movies for the rest of my life, even though I hate it.
Why am I doing this? No,
exactly.
It doesn't happen.
Not so much, no.
No. So when I see a movie like this, it makes me think, there is no excuse. It's as simple as that. There is no excuse. Get your ass out there, build something for yourself, find out what you want to make, and go make it.
Can I be honest with you? When we sat down to record this review, I was positive we would spend most of this video laughing at the stupid shit in this movie. That was maybe the most inspiring shit I have ever heard in my life because of Manos, the Hands of fucking Fate. I am so pumped right now. I want to go write 10 fucking screenplays. I want to direct 10 movies, and I want to dedicate them all to you because that was fucking inspiring as shit. Ah! On a serious note, though, I completely agree. When you see films made at this level, and you recognize that this was done in the 1960s, and yet it was still released. And I talked about The Evil Dead with our buddy Rob, and that was Sam Raimi, aged like 20 or something, just doing it. And that's the type of thing where it's like, yeah, Manos sucks, okay? It's fucking terrible. It's a piece of shit. I mean, it's atrocious on every level. This isn't anything people haven't heard before. But it's just that drive that people like him and Wiseau, had, where they're like, I don't care what the world says, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And that, even though you look at this movie and you're like, that's what I definitely don't want to do, there is something to say about the fact that it exists and that the drive he had got it made. And you're right, we have no excuse anymore. We have no excuse. If you're out there and you want to make a movie, just do it. Just start working on it today. Like, literally, start working on it today. There's nothing that's going to stop you from creating something in your head.
Just take the time. Just take the time you need to build something that's unique, that only you could make. Too many people are trying to do what other people have done. We all have something to say. And the faster you realize, okay, sitting on my butt's not getting anything done. No one is hearing what I have to say. Then find a way, find a story, find a format that lets you say what you want to say.
I agree. And I just want to spread my arms out to you and thank Manos, the Hands of Fate, for this incredibly inspiring discussion about being creative and trying to make something, even if the odds are against you. You are the best man ever. Thank you, Joe.
Back at you, sir.
Yes. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching. Obviously, Manos,
Go see it. It'll inspire you. That's the point.
Go see Manos, the Hands of Fate. It will infect you with the desire to make something better than that. Seriously, though, Joe, you're an amazing writer, and I'm lucky to have you as a friend. So thank you very much for joining me on this video. I'd like to do more videos like this with my friends. I think it's a really fun way to have a discussion about movies that I can't really do by myself in a room, which can get, a little tedious sometimes. So it's nice to have somebody to talk to instead of blue wall. It's great. So thank you very much. And guys, look forward to more very soon. As always, if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmannized. Dude, that was fucking great.
That was great.